Sure. Well, I was born in Hollywood, California, and my dad is his name was Kim Gardner, and he was part of the British invasion of the '60s and '70s, and he eventually ended up in LA with my mom, who's originally from New Orleans, and they settled here because my dad wanted to. I guess there was just more opportunity with music here at the time, and 4 years after they were married, I was born. And my dad continued to go on the road and for the first few years of my life. And so that's what I remember from a really early age was music and musicians and rock and roll and folks coming around the house and parties and staying up late with Dad and his friends and all that stuff. And so it just really kind of was in my blood from early on. And from an early age, I knew that it's what I always wanted to do, was play bass. And I say I didn't even know what it meant at the time when I was 6 or 7 years old. I didn't even know what playing bass meant, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. So it took a few years for me to actually end up pursuing it and realize what it was to be a musician and be a bassist. And by the age of 12, I started to actively pursue it. And it took a little while to get some support from my dad, because I think he didn't think I was very serious about it. We'd go on family vacations and over back to England to see my grandparents for the holidays and stuff, and say, "Dad, can we bring a bass so I can practice over there?" And he'd say, "I don't think so." Looking back now, I'm sure he didn't want to lug, a bass halfway across the world just so his 12-year-old daughter can maybe or maybe not, play it. But yeah, so I just kind of harped on him for a little while, and one of his best friends, Andy Johns. And to this day, Andy still loves telling this story too. He brings it up every time I see him. But he came over to the house one day, and he had a pig nose amp in one hand and a bass in the other one. And my dad opened the door and he said, "Andy, great to see you. What'd you bring me? You brought me some presents. That's cool, And Andy said, "These are for Eva. And she's been bugging you for a while to start playing. So I think it's time." And he sat me down and taught me my first bass line, which was "You Really Got Me," the Van Halen version. They said he did a cover of the Kinks version, and Andy had just finished producing the live record, Van Halen live record. So that was my first actual lesson, I guess. And then once Dad saw that I was kind of serious about it, he started to nurture me more and got me into how to tune it, how to hold it, how to play it. He taught me a little bit of guitar also, and because my hands were still kind of, I guess, starting the bass off right from the beginning, your hands get pretty torn up. So he took out a guitar and taught me the bass in relation to the guitar. He just took the first four strings of the guitar and said, ignore the other two. Just practice on this kind of a thing, because it was smaller strings. And then taught me some chords and stuff, and so that was helpful. I think that was kind of a cool approach, kind of easing into the big strings, Yeah, I guess from there, I had my first band by the time I was 13, I guess. And I was going to an all-girls school at the time, so it just happened to be an all-girls band called Entropy. We did a lot of original tunes, which was really fun. It was really fun for me to be creative. I'd be at school, and then first thing I'd do, I'd run home and write songs, and then do my homework later. But, it was all about writing songs at the time. It was a really fun time. And so I was there for 2 years, and I realized that there was nowhere for me to go musically at that school, because there was no music program, really. So I decided to apply for art school called LOXA, the LA County High School for the Arts. And I finished up my last 2 years of high school there in the jazz program. And met all kinds of awesome musicians there and formed bands, and just kind of, that was really the kickoff, I think, of my career as a musician. And so that was a really fun time. I got exposed to everything from King Crimson to Fela Kuti to, just John Coltrane, everything, all kinds of stuff. Really opened up my eyes. And from there, I decided that if I was going to go to college at all, I was going to go to one school, and that was going to be UCLA, because they had an ethnomusicology program there. and I wanted to kind of expand the realm of music. You know, I did the sort of conservatorial thing and did the theory classes and all that, and kind of wanted to explore what else was out there. So I applied to UCLA. I got in, put in 4 years there, got a degree, and then hit the road. And we've been doing that ever since.